Welcome to Design Your Future. We help business owners and professionals really go from good to great. And our whole idea is helping local businesses get their name out there. And we're very lucky today to be with the owner of Journey to Wellness, Deborah Hann. We're going to talk a little bit about, how to get a little bit more fit, or even way more fit, more active. But first, Deborah, how are you doing?
I'm doing pretty good. It's been an interesting few months, but plugging away, and it's been quite the learning experience for me, pivoting the business to a lot of virtual. But you know what? I've been learning some things, and it's actually starting to grow my business in ways I didn't think it was going to. So not too bad, actually.
It's great to hear.
Considering.
Considering you're staying safe, you're staying
Yes.
sane. Any tips? I
Same,
guess had
yes. I do have three children. I am running my business at home. All three of my children were homeschooled for the last couple of months. So sane, we'll use that word loosely, but keeping the business going, being able to still work with my clients, even on a virtual basis, it definitely has helped. And then my own fitness. I've been focusing on my own exercise, my own nutrition. So that definitely has helped both physically and mentally, for sure.
Hey, that's great, because I know with the pandemic and everything that's going on, business owners really been taking this on the chin more so than anyone else. Tell us a little bit about your business. And you mentioned that you're still staying active and virtual meetings. Tell a little bit of business, the value you provide, and really who's your ideal target market.
For sure. So as I mentioned, I am a mom of three, so very, very busy. A Journey to Wellness started in 2010 when I first moved to Fall River, Nova Scotia. And I decided that it was going to be me. I was trying to debate whether I was going to open up a small gym or if I was going to do something more privately. And I decided to go the more private route. My personal training studio is in my home. I do have a studio in my home. And I debated a few times over the last 10 years moving into something bigger, a bigger space, more employees. But I decided that this was who I was, and that Journey Wellness was Deborah Hann, and Deborah Hann was Journey to Wellness. And that really was something really important to me. The reason I called it Journey to Wellness as opposed to just Deborah's personal training, something like that, was because wellness is ever evolving. So when we talk about my target market, who I promote to, who do I see as my clientele, it's ever evolving, because what wellness meant for me in my 20s now means something completely different to me in my 40s, and it'll probably mean something completely different to me in my 60s and 70s. So because it's always evolving, that's why I felt that this journey that we're on, I really wanted to be able to define that and help people through all the different phases trying to achieve the optimal wellness based on their own situation, because everything's different, right? It's not just getting thin, it's not just getting muscle, it's just a number of things. It could be just being pain-free for some people. So that's really where my focus is, on helping people discover what they need to do, not based on what society thinks we should be, or even what people in their own heads think they need to be. It's what do you really need in order to be healthy, in order to be well, in order to feel good in your body and in your mind. Because fitness and exercise and nutrition, it's not just, hey, I'm going to lose 10 pounds and then all is going to be well. There's usually a lot more that goes along with that. And once we can get our head in the game and we're feeling better, everything can change. I have seen lives change, and that to me is absolutely magical. My background originally, I lived in Calgary and I did corporate communications and public relations. I have a degree in communications, and I was working in the oil and gas industry and working my way up the corporate ladder. And once my daughter was born and I started doing this, I realized that I have found my passion, that changing people's lives is incredible. When you can help somebody find that inspiration to really change their life around, it's the most rewarding job that I've ever had. It's really amazing, really
It
amazing.
sounds we have similar paths. So you really help people that are doing, you help them get even better
Yes.
mentally. And when it comes physically, a lot of mental stuff comes out there too. And
Oh,
I also worked in Calgary, moved back here. What was that tipping point for you to, instead of to get a career or a job here in Nova Scotia, you decided to go your own business? Why did you go that route? What was the
I actually did work. I worked in the editorial department of the Cape Breton Post for about 9 months. I covered a maternity leave there. I did a little bit of contract work for a communications company. And I just realized that a lot of those jobs, a lot of PR jobs, a lot of communications jobs are 24/7. You know, you're pretty much on call all the time. And my daughter was only 2, 3 years old at the time. And I realized that there were other priorities. I have always had a love of fitness. I was 15 years old in the 80s. I'm totally dating myself now. In the 80s, when 15-year-olds didn't go to the gym, right? You either had what you would call the typical muscle heads or the crazy aerobic ladies. That's who was at the gym. You didn't find young 15-year-old girls at the gym. But I went anyways by myself, and a couple of people that worked there took me under their wing and really taught me. And throughout my entire adulthood, I've just loved fitness. I can't say that I was always completely active, that I we have those ups and downs through childbearing years, that sort of thing. So, things change, and it wasn't always at the top of my priority list, but I've always had a passion for it. So I was working out in a gym one day, and I had met a few people, and we were, having a great workout, and I was helping them with a few things. And somebody said to me, "You should really train other people." And I was like, no, I could never train other people. I just do this for myself. I could never train anybody else. That's not something I could do. And I remember going home that evening and kind of sitting back going, why couldn't I? If it's something I have that much of a passion for, and it's something that people come to me for advice when I'm not even a professional at it at the time, maybe this is where I'm meant to be. And this is something I always stress to people: when you're doubting, when you're not sure what you should do, always follow your gut, always follow your heart. It will lead you down the right path. 9 times out of 10, it will lead you down the right path. Follow your gut instinct. And I did some research into what it would take to be a personal trainer. I started doing some courses, fell in love with it, got a couple of certifications, and never looked back. And then I moved into Fall River, and I decided I didn't want to work for the big box gyms. That I knew my passion was. I wanted to run something that was mine, something that I created, that I grew, and that, again, what I present and what I give is from me, not from what a corporation told me I had to be. And that was really important to me, is that I wanted to make sure that everything that I give to my clients is things that I have learned personally, I have developed, I have grown, and that I can pass on to them.
That's right. You're independent. You're doing what's best for your clients instead of being told what to do or trying to upsell stuff,
Exactly.
right?
I didn't want to have to upsell. I didn't want to have to make sure I had a certain number of clientele per week, that sort of thing. I didn't want to have to stress about that. I wanted to be able to focus on my clients and my clients' needs. And I knew the only way I could do that is by running my own business.
And it's funny you say that, because that's exactly why I went independent with giving people financial advice, is exactly what you just mentioned there. You give them what's best for the client instead of what corporate wants you to do.
Exactly.
Now, I remember meeting you the first time. We were at the playground with our kids.
That's right, we were.
Yeah. And obviously, it's been fun watching you evolve. We're both members of FRAPA, the Fall River Business Association. You obviously practice what you preach. You seem to be found the fountain of youth, and you look great.
Thank you. I found a nice happy medium.
Yeah. What are some tips that you would give? It's funny you mentioned growing up where people went to the gym. Like, I remember growing up, and my father and his friends, they're proud of their guts, right? They're like, I put a lot of money and a lot of beer into these guts.
Oh goodness, yeah.
So I thought growing up, everybody was overweight.
Wow.
Right. So what are some tips that my mom would hate me saying that because my mom stayed in shape, but um, what are some tips that you would give for people that want to do better, that kind of
It's
follow what you're doing?
Yeah, it's really interesting that you say that, because it's something that does come up with some of my clients, is who they surround themselves with is where they struggle a lot of times. It's the friends that are like, "Oh, come on, it's my birthday, you have to have a piece of cake," or, "Oh, she's on a diet again," or, "Oh, he's cutting back on the booze because he's trying to get rid of his beer gut. He's better than us."
Yeah.
A lot of people get that, right? Those saboteurs that I don't even think they mean to do it maliciously. It's almost like they're afraid that you're going to succeed. And I always try to tell people, it's like, don't force it on anyone. Just be that inspiration, make the changes, and you'd be surprised at how many people you inspire. But one of the first things I tell people is to look at who you associate with. Definitely look at who you're with.
Yeah.
And are these people lifting you up, or are they holding you back? Now, that's so much easier said than done. I'm not telling anybody to go out and cut their spouse out of their life because they eat potato chips, because trust me, people would be gone long ago. But really, it's the everyday. Are you surrounding yourself with people who enjoy being healthy, who want to be healthy, who inspire you to want to exercise, who maybe would make that phone call and go, "Come on, let's go for a walk," or something. You want to surround yourself with people like that. That's more important than we realize. But at the same time, you have to remember that this is your life and it is your choices. Your friends can't make the choices for you. You still have the choice to be able to say, "Yes, I'm going to have that piece of cake," or, "No, you know what? My goals are too important to me. I'm not going to have that piece of cake." You still have to make those choices. And sometimes it's making the changes and living your best life, not because of the people around you, but in spite of. And that's just a fact of our life. There is always going to be obstacles in our life. Always. There's always going to be celebrations. I promise you. Christmas, Easter, summer holidays, Halloween, Valentine's Day, anything that we associate with food, birthdays, funerals, weddings, right? You think about that. Everything I just said, what is the number one common denominator? Food, and lots of it. Right. And relaxing and not exercising and, whatever it might happen to be. There's always going to be obstacles in our life, no matter what. There's going to be stresses.
That's so true. And I couldn't agree with you more about your associations. That is so powerful. And sometimes it is the ones that we love and love us.
Yes.
They don't intentionally try to hold us back. They're doing it out of their kindness of their heart. They want to see you happy. So you're working too hard or whatever.
Oh, come on.
They're there to help.
Break.
So
yeah, you need a break.
Yeah. So you can take that advice and just let it roll off your shoulders, right?
Exactly.
Like, you don't have to defriend them, as the saying, make new friends, but keep the old. Some are silver and silver are gold.
Yes.
And I would say that's one of the power of getting a personal coach in fitness, or a personal coach in business, or, personal coach in finance, is you are already surrounded by someone that's going to help you go to that next level.
Exactly. It's somebody outside of the picture a little bit. They're not so immersed in your life at the beginning anyways. It's amazing how immersed in my client's life I actually become. But it's somebody on the outside that truly has your interest at heart. Right. And, when you're having those struggles, or you have those frustrations, or you have a stress, that you have that person that you can go to. So for myself, I will make them exercise anyways. I'm like, yes, I understand you're having a bad day and you don't want to exercise, but guess what? You're going to do it anyways. I cannot tell you the number of times that I've had clients show up here in really bad moods, or they're very upset about something, and I can feel it the second they walk in. And to see that switch as they go through the workout, as they're exercising, as we're talking, I'm really bad at really, weird jokes that make no sense, but it just gets people, I have a very quirky sense of humor, but it helps. I try to push them, and I try to get the best from them with a little bit of humor put in. And it's amazing at the end of the 50 minutes or at the end of the hour when we're done, how the mood has switched. How both being able to talk something out, to exercise, which, you know, any study that you can see is one of the best stress relievers out there is exercise. You know, so it's amazing to watch how with a little bit of chatting with somebody, confiding in somebody, working through some issues, hopefully I can give a little bit of practical advice, but then exercise at the same time. It's a matter of 45, 50 minutes to see somebody's mood completely change. And they always leave going, thank you, I feel so much better. And then their workout's done as well.
Awesome. Awesome. Thank you very much there, Emerson.
Oh.
One of the beauty, yeah, just is giving a cookie. I hope you're not too mad at me. Is a healthy cookie? Look, there's
a healthy cookie. I love it. When people put the word healthy in front of the word cookie, I hear gluten-free, vegan, organic, and healthy. Those are always the words I hear in front of the word cookie, as if it's going to make it feel better. It's a cookie.
So you mentioned, you know, cookies and cakes. Do you put your clients on diets?
It depends. And first of all, I never call it a diet because there's just way too many bad connotations when it comes to the word diet, even though diet technically just means the food that we are eating. This is my diet. This is the food I'm eating. We as society have just put a lot of bad spin on the word diets. And now, you know, type in the word diet to lose weight, right? The keywords into Google and see what comes up. Millions and millions. And there are millions of different diets. And I don't believe in being restrictive. What I do believe in is that there are if you're trying to lose weight or trying to lose body fat, which is more important than losing weight, there are certain times of the day that eating certain foods is going to be more beneficial for you. There is a scientific way that your body will lose body fat more than others. So definitely, if somebody comes to me and they want to lose body fat, that's one way that we can, you know, modify some eating. Again, not restrictive. I think you need to fuel your body. Fuel is extremely important, especially if you're exercising. The worst thing you could ever do is try to starve yourself and exercise. You're going to end up getting sick and injured.
Yeah, I see it all the time. Where people do, yeah, and I'm the same way. I find diets, or that the term diet that diets have become known as, generally don't work. They're like budgets. Budgets might work the first month or so, or are a good place to start, but they fall apart.
And definitely,
you want to think abundance. It's the journey to wellness after all, right?
Exactly. I'm trying to create healthy lifestyles. I think one of the sayings is the faster, you can either lose weight fast or forever. Right? So a diet where you're going to restrict food, of course, if you're going to restrict certain food groups, yeah, you cut anything out of your nutrition and you're going to lose weight. Is it going to be permanent weight loss? Have you created a lifestyle where that you are going to be able to maintain this forever, where you are going to feel well forever? You know, unless you've done something that can really be a part of your everyday life, you're eventually going to go back to some old habits. It's inherent in our physiologically, in psychologically, we will eventually go back. And a lot of times if you've been very, very restrictive and then all of a sudden you go back to those old habits, your metabolism is so slow and your body's not doing what it needs to. And that's why we usually see when people gain back, they gain back more. And that is the last thing I want to see for everyone.
So it really comes down to, like you said, it's lifestyle and it's habits. Habits will be your philosophy of success.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And I'll mention that in a second too. There's a program that I have starting up on Monday that's all about habits. So the good way to go. Thank you for, you didn't even know that. Right? But one thing I tell people is that it's trying to figure out a way to incorporate the healthy food and the exercise into your current life, not changing your existing life just for fitness and or just for fitness and food. It's figuring out, how can I be healthy in my current life? How can I exercise in my current life? I have 3 children. I have a business. How can I make sure I'm eating healthy and being active without neglecting everything else? And one thing I really stress to, especially business owners, especially moms are definitely guilty of this, is putting everything else first. I have to do this for my business, or I have to do this for my family, or I have to do this for the kids, or I have to do this for the house, or whatever it is, we always put everything first. We'll spend hours in front of the computer working on our business, but we won't take 20 minutes to work on ourselves, on our own health. And I truly believe with my entire heart that when you make yourself a priority, you make your health, you make your fitness, you make mind, body, spirit, whatever it is to you, you make you a priority, you are going to be in a much better position to take care of everything else around you. Because if you're not taking care of yourself, something is going to fall through the cracks, whether it's your business because you're going to get sick, or you're going to get injured, or you're just not going to have the mental capacity to do what you need to do, or you're not going to be able to do the things you want to do with your family because you're not well. Something will fall through the cracks. So when you are feeling good and you've put yourself first, absolutely number one priority, then everything else will fall into place. You are going to be in a much better position to take care of everything and everyone else you love.
Wow. So for those that are watching, or those that they don't want to be part of the status quo anymore, they want to go to that next level, what are one or two easy things that they can, just to get started, to make those positive changes? Yeah.
My top, drink lots of water. That one thing more than anything can make a big impact, especially if you are not a water drinker. The first couple of weeks are hard because, of course, you're going to run to the washroom a lot, but you really, that can make a huge difference, because it can make a difference in how you feel and how your body moves. If you have aches and pains, it can help, and it will help you. A lot of times we hold on to a lot of water weight, and by drinking lots of water, it'll flush that out. So you get that immediate boost of whether it's weight loss or clothes just feel better or you just feel better. So definitely water would be my number one. It's the first thing when
awesome. I got this is a cup full of water right here. I don't know.
There
if
you
can
go.
see it,
Good
but
job. Good job. So that's the number one, water. A little bit of movement every single day. It doesn't have to be crazy, but you want to be just a little outside your comfort zone. Just so even if it's a matter of, I normally walk at a 2.8 mile per hour pace, and that you would know what that is when you're out walking, you know what your normal pace is. Stepping up just that little bit. It doesn't have to be a lot, but just a little bit outside your comfort zone. If you're always in your comfort zone, your body is very used to being there, and it doesn't have to work as hard, so you're not going to make as many changes. So obviously, if it's something that you first started doing, that's outside your comfort zone already. So if you're not used to going for a daily walk, just going for a daily walk is outside the comfort zone. So, it's taking those baby steps. So starting small, working your way up. Even when you learn to run, how do we learn to run? Any Learn to Run program, it's walk, run, walk, run. We don't just go out and start running 10 kilometers. We don't do that. We start small. So it's the same thing with changing anything. It's starting small. Let me think. Eating frequently. I say the 2 Ps, protein and produce, frequently throughout the day. If you're going to eat more of your starchy foods, what a lot of people call carbs, but of course carbs are fruit, vegetables, whole grains, that sort of thing. But if you're going to eat more of those types of foods, you want to eat those earlier in the day. I say start big, finish small. So your biggest meals are your earlier in the day. Your evening meals are the smaller meals. I had to have a conversation.
Kind of the opposite of what a lot of people do.
Definitely the opposite of what a lot of people do, right? We finish with that huge meal at the end of the day because we're hungry, because we haven't eaten a lot during the day. And then what happens is we keep going. We keep eating throughout the evening. So starting big, finishing small. I had a conversation with my daughter because she would come home from school and she would see my evening dinner meal was very, very small. And she was like, "You don't eat very much." I'm like, "Oh, wait a minute." So I had to start taking pictures of some of my earlier meals in the day when she's at work to show her, oh no, mom eats a lot of food. And I do. I eat a lot of food. And I feel better because of it. I don't restrict. I do definitely limit my sugars. Right. That's a given. That's kind of a no-brainer. It's not even something that I have to really tell people. We all know that. We have to limit our sugars.
When you start limiting the process and the sugars, your palate will come back too, and you'll start noticing the flavor of real food.
Definitely. So so eating frequently, protein and produce every 2.5, 3 hours, a little bit of protein, a little bit of produce throughout the day. Finishing around dinner time. trying not to eat in the evening. I mean, that's been something that's been around since the 80s. Now they call it intermittent fasting. It's nothing new. In the 80s, it was called don't eat after supper, right? It's because really that's what you're doing. If I finish my meal at 5 or 6 o'clock and I don't eat until 7 or 8, I've just intermittent fasted for 12 to 14 hours, right? So, and that's nothing new. We just call it something different. But you want your body to have that downtime throughout the evening. But again, not necessarily a diet. And
wrapping up here, you mentioned, focus on yourself. That is so important, and everything will come together. For those that, you mentioned you're starting a business, those that are starting a business or want to take their business to the next level, like you've pivoted, you've made changes. One of my hopes is that people will stop being so busy. They're busy being busy a lot of the times. I'm hoping they'll be more productive. What are some tips you can give to business owners, people, professionals that want to get to that next level, either in business or really in fitness during these times?
I think it's really important that you see with business, there's a difference, because sometimes being busy is not necessarily a bad thing. If you're doing what you love, if you're doing what you're passionate about, you have to make sure you're doing something that you enjoy, whether it's your business, whether it's exercise. Don't do something you hate, find something you enjoy to do. And it makes everything so much easier. So I agree. I think that this whole COVID, staying at home, cutting out a lot of, even some of the kids' activities, we've gone from that rush. But if everybody's doing something that they enjoy and they love, I don't necessarily think that's a bad thing. I don't think it's necessarily inherently bad to be busy in business, as long as you are still taking care of yourself and doing something you enjoy.
Well said. Well said.
So just find your passion. So can I mention a couple of things that I've got coming up?
Well, I was actually just going to ask you one more question,
okay,
and then I was going to leave it with you on there.
Awesome.
So we'll
go for it.
We'll wrap up real strong. Now, this is something I ask my clients, and I'll ask you the same thing. It kind of gets really strong on your why and your vision and who you want to be known for. And saying if you knew you only had 1 hour left on this planet, all right, not maybe you helped a engineer out and they want to repay you. They designed a rocket ship and you're going to take off for a while. All right. Who are you spending that hour with? What are you doing? And what advice would you pass on?
Wow. You know what? As a mom, the answer is easy, right?
Yeah.
You spend your time with your kids. Absolutely. As for the advice, this is pretty much the advice I give everybody. Same thing. Surround yourself with people you love and who love you. That means everything. When you surround yourself with people who lift you up, who make you happy, that can change your whole world. That makes your days worth getting up for. It makes what you do, if the sacrifices you make, whether it is running the kids around, whether it is focusing on your business, at the end of the day, if you are surrounding yourself with people who make you happy, who lift you up, and who love you and you love, that's my best piece of advice to anyone. Just go for it. Just be the person you want to be. Surround yourself with the people that you want to surround yourself with. Don't be miserable. It's not worth it. It's not worth it. Just
awesome. Yeah. Go for it. Be the person that you want to be. Surround yourself with people you love and that love you. Wow. Yes. That's so powerful. So I can see why your clients are so lucky to have you.
Thank you.
Like I said, it's been amazing watching you just evolve from the time I met you 5 years ago and just continuing to help more. So with that said, how can people contact you? Do you have you mentioned some events coming up?
Yes.
Please share.
Okay. So in-person personal training, I am quite full. My time slots are full, but I do have a couple of open spots here in my studio in Fall River. So that would be kind of the person that really needs somebody to hold them accountable, watch them exercise. And I also do now, with this whole last couple of months, I have learned the whole online virtual world, and I do now train people all over Canada. So I have virtual personal training clients in Alberta, someone in Ontario, I have someone up north. So it's definitely something that I can do. So people can find me either in person in my studio here in Fall River or virtually for personal training. I run fitness classes. I run 6 fitness classes a week. 4 of them are virtual. 2 of them are in person here in Fall River. I run online programs. I have my kind of staple platform. The big one that I've always run is called an 8-week body transformation challenge. I run it 3 times a year, January, April, and September. I've helped in the last, I think that one's been around now for 8 or 9 years. I've now helped thousands of people all over the world, which is really cool. Awesome. To be able to reach everyone. The majority are Canadians. I think that's who gravitate towards my Facebook page, that sort of thing. But I've helped people all over the world, which is really cool to be able to do that. And I've seen some phenomenal changes. And with that, I've started to evolve a little bit more into the online world, where I am now creating membership programs, different challenges. So on Monday, I am starting a 14-day Kickstart challenge. And this is exactly what you and I have been talking about here today, is baby steps. So for 14 days, people can sign up, and every single day you are going to get a video from me, which is going to have a couple of healthy habits that I want you to focus on just that day, and nothing crazy. I'm not going to go out and ask you to change your world. It's just a couple of little habits that I want you to focus on each day. So you're going to get that every day. You're going to get a 5 to 10 minute workout video from me. So again, if you're just starting off and you're thinking, I cannot go to the gym for an hour, 5 to 10 minutes a day. It's better than 0 minutes a day. And then I'm also going to provide a healthy recipe. So 14 days, and I'm doing all this. And this is my way of thanking everyone for helping me and sticking with me for the last couple of months. I'm offering it for $10.
Wow. $10. So how do people sign up?
So they can go to my website, journey2wellness.ca. So it's the digit 2, www.journey, the digit 2wellness.ca. It's the 14-day Kickstart program. And yeah, my goal, I created this whole new system. You should have seen me last week. I had this big piece of newsprint. It's color coded, it's marked up. It was kind of like my brain dump. I had to put it out on something, and then I put it into a brand new website that just went live this week. And it's got all the new programs. So there's different levels of membership. People can have unlimited classes, plus accountability, plus nutrition, or they can just have access to classes, whatever. My goal was to be able to bring something to everyone, no matter where you are, no matter what your schedule, and no matter what your budget, that somebody can go on my website and go, there is something here for me. Deborah can provide me with something that can help me kickstart my life, whether it's even this $10, 2 weeks, get to know me. And that might also help you decide where you want to go from there. You know, did you like my personality? Did you like the way I taught classes? Do you want to come to more? Do you want to see me? Has this inspired you to go to the gym? Whatever it is, I want to just get people up and moving, because we've had 3 months and there's a lot of people that have been in ruts. And sometimes we just need the kick in the pants. I don't always say it quite that nicely. Sometimes we just need that kick in the pants to get our butts up and moving, and then we can just go from there. It's a kickstart. It's exactly what it is.
Yes. And it's funny you mentioned that, because there had the COVID and then the tragedies here in Nova Scotia, the murder of George Floyd. It seems like a lot, and it's affected me. But doing the exercise, getting up and actually getting movement has been a huge help for me, my business, and clients as well. That's awesome. So Journey to Wellness with the number 2.ca.
Yes. And you can find me on Facebook, on Instagram, with any hashtag Journey to Wellness, you'll find me.
Awesome. I can see, why you're such a big asset to your clients. And obviously, we learned a lot here today, but it's not necessarily what you know, but it's what you do with your knowledge and putting your knowledge into action.
Exactly. It's all about action.
Yeah. So if you're tired of the status quo, or if you just want to get even better, reach out to Deborah. She's going to help you out, get to that next level of fitness. And it's amazing what happens when you start improving your health. everything else seems to fall in place. You can't really do much when you're not healthy, right?
That's right.
Yeah. Thank you so much. Wish you
Thank
all
you
the
for
best.
having me.
And I have a good feeling you'll see me on that journey to wellness program.
I hope so. I hope so. Everyone is welcome. Men, women, everyone. No age, no limits on age, gender, physical abilities. I will help everybody start from where they are. So thank you so much for having me. I really appreciate it.
I appreciate our time together. It was awesome.
Thanks.
All right. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.